Hi, I am making a video for a personal radio for my son Scott, and this would be probably a good training material for him for us to review each day. If we just try to remember particular setup, particular topic, then all we have to do is just to open the video and then try to replay over and over again. Now, I'll be talking about minor pieces, and this entails more specifically with the knight, how to handle the knight against other minor pieces like bishop. So it's most likely it's been there's a big debate that which is stronger, the knight or the bishop. Some people say, I like bishop because it's a long range. Some people say that I like the knight because it can capture some pawns in dark square, some pawns in white square. So we got a lot of options, though it's a short range compared to a long range bishop. But basically, I'll be talking about how to handle the knight in the end game, particularly also some parts of the middle game. Um, this game that I will talk about is with Anderson and Browning. And Anderson, the background of Anderson, he always very good at night. He is more on master of what we call cavalier to handle the knight in the end game. He prepares knight than bishop in the endgame. He loves a opening repertoire that could lead to a knight for him against bishop for his opponent. I will just try to run down the opening, some parts of the middle game, and we'll just focus the position on the end game. How did it arrive in in that kind of position in the end game? Now, Anderson plays here white against Brownie Walter. Now, this is the move of first move Anderson, knight f3, c5, c4, knight f6, knight c3, and then e6, g3, b6, bishop g2, bishop b7, castle, bishop e7, b3, castle, bishop b2, a6. This is kind of book line. There's no really committal yet. There's no challenge yet. So there's no committal in the center. It's more on development in the minor pieces of both players. E3, d6, d4. The first challenge. Now we have here for the black knight bd7. So just ignore it. Then d5, and then e takes d5, then knight h4. Knight h4 is a good move because if this can take this one here, then his bishop at b 7 is now captured. Now, so what did the black do? He plays g6, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, queen takes d5, and then b5. Knight g2, knight b6, queen d3, bishop takes c4, bishop takes c4, rook b8, rook a b1, and then queen d7, e4, f5, knight e3, F takes e4, queen takes e4, rook b e8, queen d3, rook f3, and then bishop c4, bishop c3, bishop d8, bishop a5, queen c6, bishop takes b6, bishop takes b6. It's more on now in the endgame. Still in middle game because it has a queen, but it's going towards endgame. Now, as you can see, white here, Anderson has a knight against brown whitey with bishop. Rook fd1, bishop c7, rook b3, bishop a5, queen c2, bishop d8, knight d5, rook f8, queen b2, queen a4, rook c1, rook e6, rook b8, queen e3, king f1, centralizing the king, queen f7, rook b7, and then okay, the black decided, okay, let's have queen to queen. Rook takes f7, bishop takes b2, rook takes f8, king takes f8, rook e1, rook takes e1 check, king takes e1, and king f7. At this point, this is the position, a very crucial position. There are no rooks, there's no more queen, only few pawns with a knight against the bishop. So I suggest for a beginner player, we have to really make a good plan. See the position very, very carefully. We have to evaluate the position. Now, due to his opening repertoire, due to Anderson's repertoire, knight versus bishop endings are frequent to him. With white, for instance, he usually employs king based on king's fianchetto, where one of the main plans is to increase the bishop domination, yeah, of the light square by means of bishop takes g5 or bishop g5 takes f6, and also of course when he plays black, playing Nimzo Indian, frequently implying bishop takes c3. So it means there will be a trade bishop trading with the knight's opponent, and what's left in him most of the time in the end game is just a knight, and the opponent left with the pieces is a minor piece bishop. So it's kind of basically like this. Now, white moves king e2 and then bishop d4. Okay, as you can see here, we have dark square bishop against a knight, right? Knight. Now, white is trying to develop his pawn in the king side. Develops f4, then h5. Now take note, this is a dark square bishop. So why is the white putting his pawn to dark square? Let's try to observe the improvement of the pawn. So let's see, king f3, okay, king a6, centralizing all their kings, and then h3. Now it starts to develop. That is not the final touch of the white. He still to develop his pieces, all of his pawns. Remembering this one, this pawn at a2 and c4, they are untouchable with the bishop, right? So if you compare that, this bishop cannot capture c4 and a2, but this knight, if given a chance, this knight can capture. This knight can capture this pawn, this pawn, this pawn, this pawn, this pawn at any given color. So that's the thing. So although it's a short range, but it can capture at given at if given a chance, he can capture at any point. So bishop b2, king e4, centralizing the king, bishop c1, g4, okay, trying to exchange and make it like it's right now it's 3 versus 2 and make it 2 versus 1. Simplify it, just trying to simplify it. So there's no choice. So take h4, and then here 8 takes g4, bishop b2, a4, and then bishop a1. Now what happened if that the attempt of to build fortress with king d7 like this, you know, what will happen? f5, g5, it fails to f6. See? So he got the pass pawn already. King e6, knight c7 check. This pawn at a6 will fall. King f6 and king d5, threatening this pawn at d6, a5, and then there's a fork, knight e8 check, king e7, knight d6, bishop d4, and then knight e4, and then it's gonna be a very winning position to the white. Now here, he moved knight b6. From there, he moved here. Now, bishop b2, f5, check, and then g takes f5, and then after that, g takes f5 check, king f6, knight c8, threatening this pawn at d6, and then out of frustration, black moves d5 check. Now what will happen if he will not move here, but instead he will just defend by the bishop e5. Now king d5, king f5, of course, it's a free pawn. Knight takes d6, king f4, knight e4. This is a zugzwang. Black has no option really here, but white has a lot of play. Yes, king is this black king at f4 is far away from his pawns in c5 and a6. King f5, knight takes c5, and then knight b7, and then this kind of hopeless. Knight d6, forcing the king to step further from the main theater of battle, but the simple c5, king f6. So it's and after that it's pushing the pawn to c5 and hopeless for the black. This pawn at c5 will go all the way to promotion. Now instead he play king takes d5, king takes f5, knight d6, king f6, knight takes e4 check, king e7, knight takes c5, c5 excuse, a5, king c6, bishop c3, knight bd7, and of course, if knight bd7, yeah, like that, and purely is a winning for white. So so this would entail like there are some players who loves to retain the bishop. Well, for some reason, it's good. Some player also wants to retain their knight. But in either situation, a player should strive to do better in good in those two pieces. The bishop, how to handle bishop in the endgame, and how to handle the knight. But this Undersalt is really really good. He's really really at best of using his knight in the endgame. Just a recap, just a recap here. It started here. So it's all about the plan. How will you mobilize your knight? How will you mobilize your knight against a long range bishop? This this somehow could explain if you're really really good at knight, then bishop could be really really useless at this kind of position. So thank you so much, and that's all.